Bays, our Executive Director, and the students and staff of Boys Town. I want to welcome everybody. Standing behind me are some of our Boys Town athletes. And if you young men and young ladies could just raise your hand as I introduce you. John L. Edwards, Jake Kramer, Constance Hayden, Anthony Cornelius, and Nick Manhart. We're very proud of their efforts as athletes on and off the field. Sports is an important part of what we do here at Boys Town, and it's a pleasure having everybody here today. We're very thrilled to be part of this great award ceremony and that highlights college football's top interior linemen, both current and historically. You know, helping to make this possible are our special guest here today. I want to particularly thank the Omaha Sports Committee, Downtown Rotary for this opportunity, and give special thanks to Bob Mancuso and his sons, and to Jim Murphy for making all this possible, and including the Boys Town kids in this. We also want to thank Luke Joeckel, you know, from Texas A&M, the 2012 Outland Trophy winner. And I also want to welcome Loyd Phillips, the 1966 Outland Trophy winner from the University of Arkansas. I'd also like to thank Mr. Joeckel and Mr. Phillips. I also want to ask Mr. Joeckel and Mr. Phillips if they could come forward and make a few statements that they'd like, and then open it up to questions from the people in the press here. So, Loyd, you want to start, or do you want Luke to start? You can go ahead. You go ahead.
I want to say thank you. You know, this is quite intimidating for me, you know, to be in this place. So, you know, I'm honored, and I feel very gracious to be here. Been in education for 37 years, and I know that it's, you know, working with young people, what a challenge it is, and the work that's been done here, I just think is tremendous. And I'm very, very proud to be here. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Luke?
I would just like to say, you know, how great it is to be here also. And, you know, it definitely means more to me just to be here than, you know, a lot of these kids seeing me. You know, got to talk with some of the guys about their season and stuff like that. And, you know, it's good talking to them about high school football. It makes you remember the great times and stuff like that. And, you know, what an honor for it is for me to be here and, you know, get to share some of my stories, get to hear some of their stories, and, you know, try to make an impact on their life, because they definitely are making an impact on mine. And what an honor and blessing it is to be here. Thank you.
Folks, let's open it up to questions. Hey, Luke, you're with your dad being an old lineman. Were you more prepped in Outland history a little bit than most guys? Did he kind of let you know a little bit about it through the years?
Yes, very much so. You know, I grew up an offensive lineman my entire life, and I've known about the Outland trophies probably since second grade when I started Pee Wee football. You know, I was lucky to have my dad as my coach, and not many Pee Wee coaches teach you to, you know, grab the breastplate, that's your steering wheel, and hands inside, lower guy with lower pads wins. And I got taught that as a second grader, so I was definitely got a head start. And we've known about the Outland trophy, and I know how big of a deal it was, and it's definitely an honor and a blessing just to receive it.
Luke, you made a bit of news yesterday to announce that you're going to make yourself available for the draft. Talk us through that decision more.
It was definitely the hardest decision of my life. You know, I have a twin brother at Texas A&M who's a backup quarterback there, and we're extremely close. And leaving him at A&M and leaving the other four guys in the offensive line and the rest of the guys in the offensive line room was extremely hard, because we have such a close relationship on and off the field. And leaving Johnny too, blocking for him all season was great, and he's a good friend of mine too. And it's just hard leaving my education. I'm 27 hours away from graduating, but you know, I for sure will come back and finish. Education is huge to me, to my family, but I feel like it was just an opportunity I couldn't pass up. And opportunities, when they come around, especially in a physical sport like football, you got to jump on it, and that's what I felt about it.
Luke, in this year, when you win the Outland, your quarterback wins the Heisman, you win a Cotton Bowl, does that make it a little easier to go now with some things taken care of or done behind you?
Yeah, you know, it's, you know, receiving all those accolades was huge, but you know, it's all about that really wasn't that big of a deal. I'm not an accolade guy. I kind of like being in the background. I'm the shyer guy, you know. But you know, doing all that and being a part of a great team, and you know, I went to Texas A&M to make A&M relevant again. in Texas and in the country. And being part of that, making Texas A&M a team that a lot of people around the country talk about, was my goal of coming to college, and I'm just so happy to be part of that this season.
Luke, talk about Johnny. He wins the Heisman Trophy. What's it like blocking for a quarterback like that?
Yeah, he's a great guy. He's a great guy to block for. He's not the traditional guy I've blocked for my entire life. I had a twin brother's quarterback growing up, and he was a pro-style quarterback. He's about 6'5", 235, and he's a pocket passer. And I'm blocking for Ryan Tannehill, pocket passer. And going and blocking for Johnny this year, it's totally different. But he learned after that first game, and it makes football funner blocking for a guy like that. Him running around back there, it's kind of like backyard football when you're playing, just tackle the guy with the ball. You go and try to pick someone off just to give him a little space, and he can make a play out of anything. And he's been a fun guy to play with this season.
Last year, how'd you guys transition? You did it pretty well compared to maybe how Missouri did. Can you kind of talk about that jump and what you guys were able to do?
Yeah, we were, with the new coaching staff coming in, Coach Someone and his staff brought so much confidence to our team. Last season we lost a lot of games in the second half, and it was mostly just all mental, and Coach Someone was not going to allow that. And we went to I was able to go to the SEC Media Day, and no one really thought much of us at all, and thought we would accomplish much in the season. And you heard a lot of negative talk about Texas A&M, and that definitely put a chip on our shoulder going into the season. And we knew what kind of talent we had, we knew what kind of athletes we had, and we knew we could compete. So we wanted to show the country that.
One of the things you guys did was beat Alabama in Tuscaloosa. When you watched the game Monday night, was that satisfying that they played that well, or disappointing knowing what you guys were able to do against them?
It was satisfying. Alabama was an incredible team, and we were lucky enough to really shock them a little bit. We jumped on them early, 20-0 in the first quarter, and just tried to hold on to that lead the rest of the game. And they're a great team. They deserve the national championship. They got a great coach. They got a great offensive line. Speaking as an offensive lineman, and that's one of all those reasons are the reason why they're the number one team in the country. And it's fun to say that we were able to beat the national champions in Tuscaloosa.
Luke, when you look back at your season, a lot of people think that A&M was maybe the best team at the end of the year. You were the only team to beat Alabama. You crushed Oklahoma at the end of the season. How good were the Aggies?
We like to think we were definitely could have. The only thing about I was able to go to the national championship game and experience all that, and the only thing better than that would be playing in it. And we really would have loved to play in that game. But going into the season, we knew what we had to do. We knew that we weren't going to be able to lose many games because the whole BCS thing, how all that works. And we lost 2 close games. We were 8 points from being undefeated. Lost to Florida the first game of the season, LSU later on, and we knew we wouldn't make a national tournament with 12th man. Nebraska people know how great. Fans here. Some of the craziest fans in the entire country, but A&M, I like to think, there's some of the craziest fans too, and you definitely got to see that in that game. The field getting rushed after the game was one of the coolest events I've ever been a part of. A&M, Cal Field's Memorial Field, and normal students aren't allowed to step on the field, but that game being rushed and you getting mobbed at the end of the game is as cool as it gets, and something that you dream about growing up. He's an incredible player. He's a great guy too. I've been able to talk to him through this process. His parents are great people. He's got a great brother, and they're all extremely nice people. And who knows what happens? He's an incredible player. He deserves to go high. There's a long process before the draft that we're both, I think, going to do a great job with. So who knows?
And I became a fan of his. I think he's a young man's a tremendous tackle, and barring injury, he's going to be playing on Sunday for many, many years. Plus, he's an outstanding young man, very humble and has his head on right. I'm looking forward to watching him play. And to the question about who's going to be drafted the highest, there's not any question. It's going to be Luke.
Mr. Phillips, you played against Bob Vanny, and then for him in an all-star game, is that correct?
Right, correct. We played in the 65 Cotton Bowl, and we were lucky enough to win 10-7. Then Coach Devaney, my senior year, 2 years later, he, I believe it was the Coach's All-American game in Atlanta, that he was, to be honest with you, I don't remember if he was a head coach or just was, one of the assistants helping, but he was a tremendous gentleman, and I just, you gained a lot of respect just being around him. He was certainly a good man, and Nebraska was lucky to have him.
What does this Outland Trophy mean to you, and has it gained in significance over the years now that time has passed?
Well, it's always meant a lot, and to be brought back like this and giving it retroactive, it's a tremendous honor, and the people that have made this possible, I could never, verbally be able to thank them enough. The people have been so nice, and it's very humbling, and I'm just thankful that Mr. Muniso, Bob, I'm not sure if I pronounced that right or not, but anyhow, he's the one that started it, and his idea, and I can't thank him enough.
What do you think of Brett Fielman?
I think time will tell. I haven't met the young man, and he's gone to 3 Rose Bowls, so that speaks highly enough.
Loyd, are OD tackles okay with offensive linemen winning the Outland?
Do what now?
Are D tackles okay with seeing offensive linemen win the Outland?
Yeah, of course, back in '64, I had to play both ways, and I was telling his dad on the way over here, we played University of Tulsa. They had a defensive end named Willie Towns that I had to play against on offense, and the offensive tackle was Tony Licio, who had a great career with Dallas. So that was a long day for me.
Hey, Loyd, I'm going to ask you a question. Who's a couple of the toughest guys you played against when you were in the pros?
Well, running back, I would, I think Jim Kick with the Miami Dolphins was extremely good. The offensive tackle was Forrest Gregg with Green Bay.
To Luke and Loyd, and also, Bob Mancuso and Jim Murphy have made this tradition. We're also going to ask the 2 Outland gentlemen to sign a Boys Town football to be put in the Hall of History here. So guys, if you just come forward to the podium here, and then kids, if you could give the gifts to them, okay?
Okay, very good. Excellent. Excellent.
Okay.
Well, there's no doubt about that.
Did you enjoy beating Oklahoma so bad after all those years?
For sure. How can you not? That's just
That was probably a big deal.
They didn't have the same OU team they've had in the past.
No, not quite the same.
That's all part of the intervention and assessment. Specialized treatment group home, or for go into families' homes. We have a contract with the state of Iowa. We do the whole western part of Iowa. We get a notice from that a family's needing help, and they go in there. And we also had Cecil Stout, was the White House photographer for President Kennedy. He took the famous photo. Domicon Sue was out to visit us also, and then we had our speaker at our booster banquet was Gail Sayers last year. We do a booster banquet every year to raise money for our sports programs. So he was out, and then Hank Aaron, he sent us one of his bats when he visited the village also. And then you'll see there's a little Simpson cartoon. We've been featured on The Simpsons a couple times. And then we have an Emmy for a production that was done at our hotline.
And we have an Olympic torch here because our mayor at the time, Amanda, she got to carry that torch to the village of Boys Town when the Olympics were in Salt Lake City. So this is a continually changing case of different items as they come in. We have baseballs from Ted Williams and different people like that we bring out. And any occupation, anywhere across. Yes, because they all want to tell us their stories, what they've done. We've gone back to follow this concept. We don't want kids to come in for treatment homes here on campus, or maybe they'll go to one of those other programs that they have too.